Okay, so a lot of you asked me about what this server was about in more detail, so I'm here to explain that. So for those of you not in the known, this is the well-fed cult server, and this is a elemental battlegrounds server that was made with the pure intention to try and kill me in elemental battlegrounds to gather screenshots of my dead avatar, to make memes, and post to their channel for publicity. This was a server of 100 plus members when it was active. What this server would do was if they happened to see me in the game, they would alert the entire server to aid them in their advance attack against me. But what makes this interesting is that before this server they were technically already trying to solo me in the game, and that didn't work out too well for them. Now, what I hate about this server is this. They normally will slow up in the game to try to kill me, but are the ones to get killed instead, which I'ma show proof of here in a bit. You guys see how Spatial Pruriency is constantly acting like she is better than me. She occasionally saying she beat me, and by the way she never has. And she constantly acting like she is better than me. But here's the catch behind all her fake acting. She constantly lies about beating me, and every time Spatial Pruriency showed up to attack me, this is what happens. Or shows up to attack me, only to die to one of my random university members. But still Spatial Pruriency continues to confront me in elemental battlegrounds, only to lose time after time again. Only to come back in the server and may like she won and I'm just bad. Spatial Pruriency isn't the only one of this server that does this, which I'ma show in a minute. They have a channel that's directly meant to post screenshots of my dead avatar too, but even after all the attempts they made in elemental battlegrounds to try and eliminate me, they never could. Which you got to ask yourself why. I have screenshots of them, but they have next to none against me. This is because every time they ever showed to try and kill me, they are always the ones to get killed instead. By the way, here's a clip of Spatial Pruriency dying to my alternate low-level account, while also displaying the messages he sent to my friends of me being too easy to beat being displayed. That's not all. Yet even to despite this Spatial Pruriency constantly lie about being superior to me. This also goes for Skippy, aka Skip Wii U. That's not all. This is Skippy and his friends dying. This is Skippy dying again. Skippy and his friends dying again. Skippy dying again. He said he could 10-0 me, so decide to take him up on that bold assumption. He tries to go invisible upon seeing me. Just watch. He just went invisible, indicating he sees me coming. Yeah. Yet Skippy still says he's better and even occasionally says that I can't kill him. I honestly don't know what to make of this server. By the way, for reference, they even have a channel that's meant for developing exploits to use on me. The reason for this was because they didn't care if I died to cheats. They didn't care if I died to teaming. What they really wanted was a clip of me dying, and they were willing to get one through any means necessary. Meaning, even if they had to play dirty. They wanted a clip of me dying to show other players to trick them into believing I was a bad player at the game, which was their goal behind trying to get clips and screenshots. But try as they might, they could never get one clip or screenshot. But them being unable to beat me didn't stop them. They couldn't beat me, so they resorted to posting a random 1v1 I had with a friend and used that. And the person behind this YouTube account is WillLingus9. And you can just tell he's just looking for a coping mechanism, like for example suffering from depression and having to switch to drugs to cope with depression. It's kinda the same thing here because he's tried his shot at killing me only to this happening. And the person he has in his video is Pulsaged. And the flaw with his video is that I've beaten Pulsaged many times. See the same evaders? Pulsaged runs. Pulsaged died. He was so lucky. But yeah, Pulsaged lost to me many times before. So what was the reason for this? Well, if you look at his YouTube videos, or more specifically the title of this videos, you can see he blatantly puts insults by the name of this opponent. He's trying to show how much better than he is compared to whoever he is fighting. He does this because he has an ego, and by putting others below him in the manner he's doing it is just to feed his ego. And when an ego person gets beat at something they think they are supposed to be the best in, they will have their ego crushed and will resort to cheesy ways out of desperate attempt to just feel they are still better even after realizing they aren't and not being able to accept that. Now this is also the same with Blispanic, and just like spatial pruriency, Blispanic has also lost me only to act and may like he's better and I'm just bad. In this screenshot he's saying one would like to quickly talk about her skill in EBG. I mentioned this in a reply to Kunf's comment on this video, but Edison is by far the worst 100 plus I've ever seen. 1. We've all seen the video of her losing 27-2 to Pulsage. Compared to known top players in the game, she can't keep up. She claims she's better than Havoc, someone who's arguably better skill-wise than Pulsage or at least very relative. I've even seen Thebli Tetzel do better against Pulsage. 2. She fakes screenshots of people's dead bodies or walks up to people 1v-ling and waits for them to die so she can take a photo and claim that she killed them. Blispanic. Let's see about that, shall we? But before that, I got to ask you if you ever seen the Blighted Soul display skill even close to this. Yeah, I didn't think so. After I had beat Blispanic, he began to join my servers in the game, trying to get revenge. He constantly third-partied in my fights, but has the audacity to accuse me of that. Even Pulsage said himself that Blispanic done this to even him before. Take a look for yourself. I will. I read the messages for you. I said, why would he? He has this huge reputation of being so amazing and skilled with Vine meta. He can do many people dirty and just exploit his reputation, saying he's better and everyone believes it. He took advantage of his reputation so he ultimately didn't care anymore. He also third-partied in my fight with O'Nees when I was 1v-ling him. This happened after my 1v1 with Blispanic. I think he screenshotted me, not sure, TBH. O'Nees and I always be having that friendly beef in EBG. And what I like about O'Nees is that it doesn't matter if I use a ult combo. He will always solo and use no cheap tactics. You gotta love O'Nees, and that Blispanic guy joined and ruined my 1v1. He wasn't even in the server so I didn't expect him to join and stop my 1v1. And after this conversation with Pulsage even admitted himself. Blispanic did the exact same thing with him. This is what Pulsage had to say. The dude can have some anger issues though. I ain't gonna lie, when we were having a war the other time like a 5v5, he kept on losing and he kept getting mad about how cancer me and my teammate Set was X'd. And then a few days after he tried to team on me cause he was still mad but he still lost. Okay. You just saw what Pulsage said. Before I go any farther, I just want to prove that this is his account. You can blatantly see that's definitely him. And looky here, he exposed himself as he's doing exactly that in this video. Pulsage said Bliss should have 1v1 and not teamed. Because look. His teammate keeps dying. See, it's the same avatar from his video. Ask yourself why he was in-game teaming? This is because, like with what Pulsage said, he literally lost to me and the whole teaming display he put on was him wanting revenge. Why? Because he didn't win. Just like with Spatial Pruriency and Skippy of well-fed cult server, Blispanic loses to me, only to later come back and may like he's better than me. Because look. But he swears up and down I'm the worst player. I really don't know how he can lie his way out of this after seeing his friend, the guy he simps so hard for, admitting Blispanic does use teaming to play dirty. You can generally tell there's something off about what he is saying from everything else I showed you. In this message, he's not particularly being honest. To farther back this up, he made a EBG tier list. And what really gets me about this tier listing is that Blispanic and just 9096 1v1 all the time. And Blispanic never beats him and only loses time after time again to make up some sorta excuse and say something like, he's not trying. Even to despite just 9096 beating him time after time again, Blispanic still put himself above just 9096, which at the making of this video, if you ask them to 1v1 right now, I can promise you just 9096 would win. But like with me, Blispanic doesn't want you knowing he's actually better than him. You can kinda see the pattern, right? In Blispanic actions, Kunf also lost to just 9096, and after losing 4 times, Kunf did something that actually took me by surprise. Kunf began to change just 9096 in his EBGX server to things like Easy 9096, Retard 9096, and he even went a step farther and then had other servers he was in to change his user within that server to something humiliating. All because he was butthurt over losing to just 9096 after claiming to be EBG top 4. If you don't see this as being valid, just 9096 is always up to 1v1 to prove what I just stated in his video. And now about the Blighted Soul. Blighted is by far the most delusional player in EBG, and here's why. In this screen recording, Blighted is talking about how he is so better in EBG than just 9096, stating just 9096 isn't a real teacher, is egotistical, which I don't know why he's calling out just 9096 for having an ego when throughout this screen recording, he's consistently saying how he is bad while bragging about how he is so much better, clearly indicating he's the one with the ego. And what makes this particularly embarrassing is just 9096 says Blighted uses third-party tactics to actually fight him. By doing this, he thinks he's better than just 9096. You can see just 9096 is getting really annoyed with his antics. Blighted saying he beat Pulsage with water. Tumble. I was not kidding when I said this guy is delusional. Just 9096 is saying to Blighted to admit he's mid-tier player, because with all due respect, Blighted isn't really that good. As you can see from this screenshot, these are some fairly decent top-tier level players, and they say he isn't good either. I even heard Blighted was in game farming, a random low-level 90 account, while flexing how he was one of EBG best players. Blighted claiming he can beat just 9096 with water. Tumble. You can blatantly see just 9096 is getting really fed up with his lying. If you don't see this as being valid, Blighted and Just 9096 are fairly active players, and Just 9096 will gladly accept any 1v1, so they shouldn't have a problem fighting to settle this. And I can prove Just 9096 is being honest because set these two up in a 1v1 on a public server and see what happens. I don't think Blighted is in for the reality check just yet. I don't know why he's saying I think I'm better than Havoc because we fought over 7 times and he's only managed to beat me 1 time. And I even offered to 1v1 Havoc to prove I am better after threatening to beat him like I did the previous 5 times. He later declined my 1v1 and didn't want to fight, showing he's obviously scared. When it comes to best players in EBG, no offense, but you can literally see he's playing favorites. This also goes for Risings. But you can definitely see the shameful reality regarding this server. Now I'm getting ready to end the video, but before I do, I want to say I do play on an alternate account in EBG, and I find it strangely funny how I be in a server with these guys, and when I go along with their way and say Addison is bad, even when I'm on an alternate account slandering myself, they never suspect me as being an alternate account. But it's only until you disagree with them or don't think in the same way as them, or if you disagree with them when they call me bad at the game. If you disagree with them in any way, they will just call you an alternate, for nothing more than you just having your own personal opinion. Also, there's one more person I beaten multiple times at the game, but still will say they are better, and that's El Pon Seco 1-3-4 and Mel Dimitris. The comments will be off to this, so if you guys want to ask questions and comment, then do in the linked video and comments and description on linked on screen. Have a nice day.